Check out our next feature on Strictly Business as we show you how street food brought to a different level can be very viable as a business.
It is amazing how many ideas come from our local entrepreneurs. Raymond Chuachoi is a Cebuano who comes from a family of entrepreneurs.
I studied high school in Cebu and transferred to Manila for college. I finished industrial engineering, minor in chemical engineering from De La Salle University. So I worked for 2 years. I worked for Coke and the bus company. Then I embarked on my first ever role as an entrepreneur. So I actually own a gas station in Congressional Avenue, Muñoz.
This last lad from Cebu was obviously influenced by his business-minded parents. The roots of his business came more than 10 years ago and started from his inordinate love for street food.
Actually, Sam's is actually a very humble beginning because at first, my first business was actually a gas station which requires a big capital. So being located in Congressional Avenue, Muñoz is known to be a street hub wherein people can find all kinds of street food. So then as a student, I remembered all the times that I would always eat in the streets due to budget and the fun of it. So even as an entrepreneur, I never outgrew that passion of eating good street food. So I would normally walk to EDSA Muñoz and eat in the streets. So the business actually started when I had a catastrophe of having eaten unclean, healthy foods wherein I had diarrhea. So I was hospitalized for a few days. So while in the hospital, I had the urge and the clamor of why not making it as a business, wherein people like me or entrepreneurs like me who feel time is very important and would want not to have the same ordeal of being hospitalized. So that was where we have Sam's Everything on Sticks was conceptualized of serving clean, healthy, and very sanitary foods. We started Sam's with, well, that's not my name. We first thought about it, Sam's, because we wanted it to be kind of foreign in its name. And the tagline, Everything on Sticks, was basically like in the street, right in the streets area, they would say tusok-tusok, lahat pwedeng itusok. So hence the English term, Everything on Sticks. The first stall opened sometime 10 years ago in Tutuban Center Mall. Yes. Well, it was very successful because what we brought in was clean, healthy street foods plus imported items coming from Thailand that was served in the street foods in Thailand. So it was unique and very successful then. However, the mall, as time progressed, did not catch up with progress.
This just goes to show that location is indeed key to one's business, as Raymond later learned.
We invested 150,000 pesos. That includes the security deposit of the malls and the cost of the cart. So it was manned by 1 or 2 people. Yeah.
Sam's is actually a family corporation, but Raymond has been tasked to head and run the business.
Sam's Everything on Sticks is actually owned by Noble House Business Brokers Incorporated. It's a family-owned business. You say my siblings and my parents. However, I run the business. Noble House is the holding company of 4 major brands, which is as we move along, Sam's Everything on Sticks, then we have Liloan's Pride Lempo, then we have T101, and the latest, which is Irish Potato. Actually, the customers accepted our concept quite really well. For a while, from 1, we grew to 80 outlets.
These are various offerings of Sam's Everything on Sticks. They are basically snacks, which can be light or heavy as you want them. Like the name suggests, everything you order comes in sticks for easy eating when on the go, and you can order as much as you want.
Our initial targets were actually the mall people, the mall goers, because street foods is everybody's passion, because I think street foods is mostly experienced when you were students or you were riding a public utility vehicle. You would see street foods because the good thing about street foods, it's not something that makes you full. It is something that fills in your stomach before you arrive home.
Not too many have thought of the big gap between leaving the office or school and going home. Braving the traffic and going the distance, people end up very hungry before they reach home. Sam's Everything on Sticks provides the quick answer to hunger pangs before lunch or dinner. It turned out to be quite a brilliant idea, but like other business ventures, it had its fair share of challenges.
So many to count, but so many to enumerate, but I can just highlight some. At first, we try to look at the numbers. I mean to say, when you look at a certain brand, people look at the numbers. Then, you try to grow even when you are not prepared. So the challenges were trying to grow. But now, the challenge is quality and not quantity, because it should come hand in hand. Growth and having the people who will manage your business, because this is a business that is managed by people. There's no such thing as a money churning business na even how nice the location is, if there's no suitable people who will run your business, it could also be not as successful, or worst comes to worst, failure. The second obstacle was finding the right location. But if you notice, I said personnel first, because there will always be a right location for you in one way or the other. So no matter how prime the mall is, there will always be vacancies. So the third challenge was to motivate people and to groom people. Having the right people without the proper motivation or the proper incentive to make them stay will also be not fruitful, because you will eventually be just a training ground where people will train and learn and live for a better pasture. So we believe that there was a program we did 3 years ago, which is, I believe, part of the reason that we really improved our business more than double digits every year in terms of sales and profit, was the people making the difference real.
Raymond's original concept of a Filipino street food company with a dash of some foreign street food offerings brought in clicked with the Filipino foodie, or just the ordinary Pinoys who tame their hunger pangs with delicious, affordable, and easy-to-eat food. The primary concern of Raymond is to offer hygienic food that is consistent in quality. He also says that it is important to take care of one's employees. Many are footloose, moving from one company to another, and the challenge is how to keep them contented and loyal. Location is another important concern. From Tutuban, where they first started, they have moved to dozens of other locations. They opened so many stores that grew to 80 all in all. But because of some bad decision on location, they have since trimmed this down to 45 stores. Now, all these stores are thriving and doing well. It is a matter of determining which ones will last and which ones to let go, and which people are right for these locations. We asked Raymond about his future plans for Sam's.
It's hard, but you know, plans, wala naman eh. There's nothing wrong with having a plan. The first plan is really to open a commissary in Visayas, Mindanao, but long-term wise is to be global, or to bring in a global street food that we can represent in the Philippine market.
10 years after they have started, they have now firmly entrenched themselves in the segment. They have chosen and carved their own niche in the food business. Raymond has this advice for budding entrepreneurs.
I think the best advice I can give is there's no such thing as a small idea. Di ba? There's no such thing as a small capital. Because like we started with 150,000 pesos of a food business. Who knew one day we could have a chain of around 80 stalls, and we have our own commissary. So I believe like you start small but you dream big. I think you would go far. So we did that far in 10 years. So we're happy with what we are. We are not as big as others, but what's important is you have your own dream and you achieve your own goals.
Imagine the business of street food on a different level, of course, growing to as many as 80 stores. It just goes to show that entrepreneurship is the engine that can drive our economy to grow. And this we have continuously shown in this segment, Strictly Business.